Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, namaskar. Welcome to the day 2 session of panels and speakers. I'm sure as we progress, as probably listening my voice, they'll say कि conference hall में क्या जाना है. So I have seen that yesterday, and once the speaker started speaking, people started pouring in. Like, good. So yesterday, if you see the previous agenda, Saurabh was to speak yesterday, but he had to stay back for some critical requirement in back home, some office work. So we'll start the day's session with Saurabh Agarwal, the founder of Growit. I met Saurabh a couple of years ago in our Agribusiness Summit and Awards, and since then we have been together. Very interesting, I keep telling about Saurabh and his brother Akshay is that long time back, his grandfather started plastic pouches business which puts saris in Gujarat, Surat mein. And this guy didn't want to do that business, probably. But he wanted to do something which is related to plastic and improve on it. And that's where the Growit was born. And he still uses their parent company's name, Alpha, for many of their connections. Saurabh, all yours. Yep, take your turn.
पॉइंट कहाँ करना है? पॉइंट इससे दबना ऐसे नहीं मतलब इसको यूज़ करने के लिए खाली प्रेस करूँ कहीं भी ऐसे करके कि आपकी तरफ करके ऐसे कर ठीक है चलेगा ये है ना हाँ या दे दो एक्सक्यूज मी हेलो So, good morning friends. First of all, thank you to Mr. Raj for giving me this opportunity to present about Growit today morning. So, good morning everyone and welcome to this amazing conference here, IIAB. So, just to give you a brief idea, we started Growit with an agenda of improving the agriculture practices in India. And we found that there is something called precision and protected cultivation, which is not penetrated enough in India as compared to our other global competitors like Europe, US, China, Israel, or even the Latin America. So we thought, why not to build this concept in India? And we started Growit with an agenda of soil to harvest agri-tech company, where we want to turn the low profit farming for the farmers into high profit farming, especially for our small landholding farmers. So our mission is to empower the farmers for food security, for a sustainable future. I think we can surely make India the food bowl of the world if we really work upon all these concepts. So we thought that, we alone could not change how the Indian agriculture ecosystem is. So we thought, let's include all the stakeholders along with us. And we started working with the seed companies, the nutrition companies, the pesticide companies, the fertilizer companies, and along with them, we have, in last 4 years, we have tried to make a difference to almost more than 500,000 farmers in almost 10 to 11 states in India. So we always see that, the problems like low seed germination, high mortality, high seed replacement costs, lower output per plant. These are few of the problems that our farmers face when they do farming in India. And they keep cribbing about this kind of problems. So what does protected cultivation bring? It helps increase the germination of the seeds, reduce mortality rates, increase 50% crop yield, and overall gives an efficiency of more than 60 to 70% as compared to the traditional methods of farming. It also helps in consistent moisture because we waste a lot of water by doing flood irrigation and furrow irrigation methods. So we have to conserve water, and I think that is one of the biggest things that we do with all these concepts. Precision seeding. The average seeds per acre is not as high as it should be because the placement of seeds is done manually by the farmers. So they can only place as much seeds as they can do with labor. What we do is we give them precision holes inside the mulching film so that they can get higher amount of plants in the same acreage. So more the plant, the better the yield. Reduce bird damage, protected environment so that we control all the environment from the external weather changes that are happening today. We use concepts like greenhouse, which are very expensive. So not all the small acreage farmers can use those concepts. So how we can bring economical concepts to those farmers, help them control weed. I think weed is one of the major challenges with the increasing labor cost at rural level. I think weed control is something which is at the forefront of helping farmers save a lot of money. And optimal soil temperature. So we also work with nutrient companies where we help reduce the loss of nutrition due to leaching, evaporation, reduce the pest attacks and the diseases that spread through the furrow irrigation and the stagnant water that is there on the field. And also help soil erosion. Because soil erosion is something which farmers struggle with, because if the soil erosion happens, the roots are exposed, due to which there is a lot of plant mortality and it also affects the growth of the plant. So in order to keep healthy roots, optimum nutrition absorption, increase efficiency of nutrition by 40 to 50%, because if we use flood irrigation and furrow irrigation systems, our nutrients are mixed with water and they leach and they evaporate. So the overall efficacy decreases. So with these concepts, we are helping increase. You can see clearly here in this area where without protected cultivation, even with drip irrigation, the growth is absolutely low. Whereas when they start using mulching films, the growth increases drastically. So that is something which we help the farmers adopt and understand at rural level. Systemic pesticides. I think this is also something which helps farmers understand how the growth is impacted. You can see the increase in white roots here, which is essential for taking up nutrition from the soil, which helps in better growth for the plants. So why Growit? Because Growit helps farmers right from soil to harvest, not only just provide the product, but also help them implement the right practices. Enhance product synergies, so that we just don't provide one product, we provide the entire end-to-end solution, like mulching films, shade nets, crop covers, wires, threads, which helps not only just ease the workload for the farmers, but also mechanize their methods of farming. Innovation and co-development. This is something which we really pride on. What we also do is understanding from all our stakeholders. We take their inputs and innovate and create new products based on the requirements and the understanding that all the stakeholders bring on the table. We are a young company, so we work with people who have spent more than 40, 50 years in the industry. So their experience is something which helps us build onto the products. And risk mitigation for farmers. These are some of the examples that I would like to show how things are improving and why this association between Growit and the other stakeholders within the industry is important. So this is traditional furrow irrigation method being used in okra. And this is how we are promoting new methods of cultivation. Again, similar crop, how waterlogging is taking away the nutrition, taking away all the nutrients along with it. Rather than that, if we use proper methods, we can reduce the weeds, we can help increase the efficacy of the nutrients that reach the plant. Again, another example of banana. You can see the amount of weed that is growing here, which is taking up all the nutrition that should have been taken up by the crop. Now it is going to the weeds. So rather than that, if we do it in the right manner, I think that is where we preserve all the nutrients for the right crop. Crop loss. We all know that almost 30% of our crops at the farm level are lost because of not being of the right quality. So if we use the right practices, I'm sure that we can reduce this crop loss as well. This is something which is hidden cost for the farmers. And if we save this, there's a huge change that we can get at ground level. So a few more examples of how traditional practices and Growit practices are working, and the difference is clearly seen. Even in crops like mangoes, where farmers are struggling to control the weeds, something like a weed mat is really, really useful for those farmers for perennial crops. In India, we still have most of our crops still lying on the ground, which results in huge crop loss. If we use the right methods, we can definitely again prevent a lot of this crop loss happening. Some more examples. This is where we also play a role in mortality rate. In India, the average temperatures are almost 35 to 45 in many areas of the country. And a lot of plant mortality is happening because of that. So if we can cover the plant at the early stages when they're growing, the mortality rates can be reduced by almost 90%. So the farmers don't have to go for replacement of plants. We see a lot of fruits like bananas, pomegranates, papayas in the Western world, and we are amazed with the quality that they provide. It's not a rocket science. They are using the common sense practices similar to what you can see here. They cover their crops with the right product so that the sunburn impacts, the pest attacks cannot happen, the bird picking cannot happen. So those are the normal practices we bring to the farmers. Another example of pomegranate. This also helps farmer better the quality of the fruit or the vegetable so that they can get better prices in the market and they qualify for export quality produce. This is another example where the crop is lying on the ground rather than being on the net, so that there is no crop loss for the farmer, and also it provides better air and water circulation so that the plant growth is better. Again, a lot of it is to do with the penetration of drip irrigation in India. If you see the numbers, none of the state has reached double digits other than the first 5 states. The drip penetration is extremely low. I think this is something which needs to change along with the practices. But the surprising fact is, the other products that I just showed, the penetration is not even 1% across the country. So even if we try and match what drip irrigation has done, I think there's a huge potential of increasing the yield for the farmers. I would also like to call CS on stage because he has been around with me for the last 2 days. Maybe he can share more light on what difference we can make as a company to the Indian agri ecosystem. Welcome, CS.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said yesterday in my presentation, I was over in Gujarat before coming here to Hyderabad, and had the opportunity to go to some farms to have a look. Some of the pictures shown by Saurabh earlier were taken by me. You know, the ones that are flooded in terms of the way they irrigate the crops, your okra, sugarcane, and bananas. As I said yesterday, the objective here is to turn India into a greater export powerhouse for food, right, for the rest of the world. Like I said yesterday, $50 billion worth of food are already exported out of India. And I also know, you know, before coming here, the issues facing agriculture in India, low yields is a major problem. I didn't know why yields were low for most crops in India until I was over in Gujarat. I saw wrong cultural practices. You don't really need to plant more to export more. What you need to do is to increase yield. And to increase yield doesn't mean buying more fertilizers, putting more fertilizers on the ground. As I said yesterday, India is already using more, Indian farmers are already using more fertilizers than their counterparts in Canada and US, right? The only one that is not used that much, which I don't believe the statistics are correct, is pesticides. As I said yesterday, 0.6 kilo per hectare. I just don't believe that figure because in China they use something like 13 kilos per hectare, right? So it's not using more. It is not planting more. It's really changing the cultural practices. And Saurabh has put up a chart there showing the penetration right now in the various states in India in terms of micro irrigation. That's drip irrigation. So much water is actually wasted, not utilized properly. And because of the way the water is used by farmers, through flood irrigation and furrow irrigation, you create so many problems, right? With pests and diseases, with leaching of fertilizers. No wonder they're using more fertilizers than in developed countries, right? Because a lot of it is leached. And then Hyderabad is a hub for biologicals, biostimulants, right? Biopesticides that are put in the soil. But if the soils are not right, the conditions are not right, there's also no point putting more of it. No wonder farmers are saying some of these biologicals don't work. They don't work because the soils are not primed for them to work, right? So drip irrigation followed by mulching, which is what Growit is making, right, is the way to go. And I just hope that the penetration of micro irrigation will increase over the years to come. And also, I said yesterday, it's very gratifying to know that the Indian government is providing subsidies, right, for farmers who want to set up drip irrigation. So very positive move, and I wish that can be accelerated over time. Like I said, that is one way India is going to be a major powerhouse in terms of export. And I also gave a new slogan to Growit. I said, your new slogan should be low tech, high impact, super returns, right? So.
Thank you so much, CS, for that. I think the industry collaboration with all the stakeholders is something which we really want to work on. So we also have a booth here. So any of you want to know more about the details of the products and the concepts that we are bringing, would love to meet all of you. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Just it. Thanks, Saurabh. You have that charisma and charm. It's very difficult to convince CS, but I know he went to the extent of suggesting you a new tagline. You need to pay me for that. Then you pay back to me.